it's hard being an independent thinker. I've never been the type of person to jump on the bandwagon. But whenever you have a different point of view than most people, you're going to be attacked and you're going to be scrutinized. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Whenever you have a different point of view than most people, you're going to be attacked and you're going to be scrutinized. My thing is, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's true. Just because the majority of people believe something doesn't make it true. It used to be a time in the world where the majority of the world believed the world was flat. During the 1200s and 1300s, the majority of the people in the world believed the world was flat. It wasn't until the 1400s that people realized that the world is round, that we live in a circle. So just because the majority of people believe something doesn't make it true. It used to be a time in this world where people believed we only had one galaxy. Come to find out, there's thousands of galaxies in the universe. There's thousands of planets in the universe. And I think 20 years from now, people are going to realize that there's life on other planets. Right now, most people don't believe that there's life on other planets. But for them to be thousands of other planets, there's actually millions of other planets, I can best believe there's life on other planets. There's probably intelligent life on other planets. I wouldn't be surprised if there's human beings on other planets just like us. So I mean, just because it hasn't been exposed yet doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Now, as far as religion goes, as far as Christianity goes, I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in Jesus. The reason why I don't believe in Jesus is because there's no proof that he ever existed. Yes, we know there was a man named Jesus. There were thousands of men named Jesus. Jesus was a common name during that time period. But the biblical story of Jesus is not true. The biblical story of Jesus was stolen from the story of Horus. The story of Horus was written 2,000 years before the Bible was written. It's the same exact story as Jesus. Horus had 12 disciples. He was born from a Virgin Mary. He was born on Christmas. It's the same exact story. It's the same exact story. And I think people need to realize that a lot of these stories in the Bible are stolen stories from other religions. They took stories from other religions and put it in this book. The Bible is a man-made written book. So when I hear people say the Bible is the Word of God, it's not the Word of God. It's the Word of man. People will say the Bible was inspired by God. There's no proof that the Bible was inspired by God. That's no different than me saying I wrote a book and God inspired me to write it. Therefore, it's the Word of God. That makes no sense, right? So the Bible is not the Word of God. It's the Word of man. Another problem I have with the Bible is that the Bible contradicts itself. Between the New Testament and the Old Testament, it contradicts itself. In one part of the Bible, it says, "Thou shalt not kill." In another part of the Bible, it supports killing, it supports slavery, it supports incest, it supports rape. A lot of people will cherry pick the Bible to make it sound so good and wholesome, but they completely ignore all the gruesome parts of the Bible. And every Christian you speak to, they will cherry pick the Bible. And they want to completely ignore all the contradictions in the Bible. What I notice about a lot of Christians is that most Christians don't believe in the Bible. They only believe in the parts of the Bible that sound good. But as soon as you bring up all those gruesome parts of the Bible, they say that they don't believe in those parts. They'll say they don't believe in the Old Testament. If you don't believe in the Old Testament, how can you say the Bible is the Word of God? If you're saying the Bible is the Word of God, shouldn't all the Bible be true? Shouldn't all the Bible be the Word of God? But you're saying you don't follow the Old Testament? If the entire Bible was written by God, shouldn't the entire Bible be true? This is the contradictions in their arguments. And this is why a lot of Christians are so afraid to have people question the Bible. As soon as somebody questions the Bible, they will get mad at you and cuss you out. So I just think people should start thinking for themselves. Start using critical thinking. Don't be afraid to have a different point of view than most people. I think the reason why most people are afraid to not follow a religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, is because of their parents. If you're raised in a certain religion, you're going to follow that religion. There's only a few people in this world that are not afraid to go against their parents' beliefs. Most people will follow the religion of their parents. And that's just how it is. It doesn't matter whether it's Hinduism, Buddhism, Muslim, Judaism, Christianity. It doesn't matter what the religion is. Most people will follow the religion they were raised on. And in most third world countries, you're automatically listed as the religion that your parents follow. Even if you don't believe in that religion. Even if you openly don't believe in that religion, it will say on your birth certificate that you're a Muslim or that you're a Christian. That's how ridiculous things are now. That's why I think people need to start allowing people to make their own decisions when it comes to religions. So when I hear people say, oh, there's 1.7 billion Muslims or there's 1.8 billion Christians, there's not that many Christians and there's not that many Muslims. And the reason why is because most people who are listed as Muslims and most people who are listed as Christians don't follow those religions. They're only saying they're Christians because of their parents. They're only saying they're Muslims because of their parents. And like I said, most people who don't believe in these religions are still listed as following that religion on their birth certificate. And that's why it says 1.7 billion people are Muslim. 1.8 billion people are Christian. I believe the majority of people in the world are deists. Deism is a belief where you believe in God, but you don't believe in religion. And that's basically my point of view. I believe in God, but I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in these man-made religions. I believe religion does nothing but divide people. It does nothing but create conflict between the countries and between the world. I believe if there was no man-made religions, there would be no terrorism. There would be no conflict. There would probably wouldn't even be any wars. Most of these wars are based on religious beliefs. A lot of religious people will act like they're so good and wholesome, but how many people, millions of people, get killed every day in the name of religion? That's why I think people need to wake up and start thinking for themselves. Start using critical thinking. The Bible is not the word of God. It's the word of man. The Quran is not the word of God. It's the word of man. A lot of people have different opinions about this topic. Leave a comment, rate, and subscribe.